Hey again, folks, it's Ninja Nick. Today we're working on my sister-in-law's, I believe it's a 2013. Let me check to make sure, but... let's look. Yep, 2013 Chrysler Town & Country. Now, it's the same as the Dodge Caravan. We're changing the alternator today. Those have been acting up a little bit, so we're doing the alternator. Now, I was not smart enough to start filming the tear down process, but I'm gonna show you what I did take off. First things first, this is where I'm at. I got the alternator out. It's sitting right there. Okay, first things first, I took out the air box, which there is one bolt, which this one is pretty rusted. It came off on the plastic and didn't come off on the nut like it was supposed to. Not a big deal. And then it just sits on these pegs. There. Oh wait, yeah. There. I don't know if you can really see it, but there's a peg right there. And then on this windshield washer jug. I took that off. I also took off the air hose, the box, and I took the air filter out just because I wanted to check it. But next I took off this hose that connects to the air box, and it connects over here to this port. Just sits on there, shouldn't be no clamps. Now yours may have an engine cover, it just pops off pretty easy. Next thing I did is I moved this hose out of my way. Okay, I just tucked it up over the engine oil fill. And then I took out the coolant jug, which the extra coolant jug, I put it over there, but it just literally snaps down onto the radiator fan. Via those holes, it just snaps down on it and sits there, and the hose runs across the top of it, connects to the radiator. Okay, now the fan is a pain, but you have to pull this side up first, get it past the hose, then maneuver this side up past the radiator cap and wiggle it back and forth, and then you do the same thing. Past there, boom, hops out, but you got to get past that line with the other side. That's the hardest part. I'll show you when I put it back in. I'll do it in reverse. And this way you ain't got to take the coolant out or drop the coolant or the AC lines. Now the alternator has 3 bolts. Okay. I don't know if you can really see it, but there's one bolt that sticks sideways. That one right there. And then there's 2 that's right about here. There's 1, there's 2. Now, there are these bolts right here, and then it got a nut. And on the back side of the radiator, there's alternator, not the radiator. There's 2. There's a peg with a bolt on it. Now, make sure you disconnect the battery. Disconnect the battery, you're going to get zapped. Okay, don't let me forget that. Yes, disconnect the battery. But yes, there's also 2 plugs on the radiator fan, too. You got there and there, which is, I'll show you right here. This one here, which is easy to see. Now this one is a pain to get to. I didn't get it until I got the fan halfway up so I can unclip it, because there's a clip on it. I'll show you. Right there. Pain in the butt, especially if it's locked, especially if it hasn't been moved in forever. Okay. And then to get the alternator out, you literally got to maneuver it. Okay, I'm going to show you with the new alternator here. You got to turn it sideways like this. And this hole right in between here, it barely fits. Oh, I forgot. You got to move the oil dipstick. Got to pull it up and get it out the way a little bit. Like that. So you ain't got to pull it all the way out, so you ain't got to get oil everywhere. Just enough to get past that. And she'll drop right down in. Just set her down there so you can get a hold of it. Now we got to turn it sideways and hook it on that bolt. That's the fun part. Of course, if you're like me, you cut yourself all up doing this. Now the fun part is we got to get that bolt down there. I don't know if you can see it. That bolt, we got to hook that peg on it. And then the alternator will sit right in place. Let's see if I can do this one-handed here. We got to turn the alternator like this. Like this, get a hold of it here. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so I got it threaded on there. As you see, it will not move out. It will not pull out. It's threaded on that bolt. Now, what I do is I take the nut, which is this one, and I will put it on the end of it so it doesn't come off. Which I gotta reach down here. I know you can't see, but I'll show you after I get it threaded. Just thread it on by hand. Just finger tight where it's still loose. You'll crank it down here in a minute. I don't know if you can see it, but that's it down there. Next, we'll take these bolts here. And we'll stick them up through here. They're at an angle, so you gotta lift it up so you can hit the hole. Otherwise, it will not thread in. I'm trying to do this one-handed. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. Get it threaded in as best you can. Now, we'll thread the other, because you always want to thread all the bolts in. Because a slight miscalculation, it won't let the last bolt thread in. That's on any part you do. I always put all the bolts in. If I can get this thing to go up where it needs to go. See, like right now, I don't want to thread. Okay, I got it. Now we can crank it down a little bit. Make sure you set your ratchet to tighten. Because if you're like me, you always forget, and then you're sitting there loosening the bolt you just put in. And you just tighten it up, and it'll pull the bolt. It'll pull the alternator in place. If it gets too tight, you just put do the other bolt. It'll crank it down evenly. Now, them bolts are pretty long, so it takes a minute. Now, the other bolt you should be able to crank down with your hand pretty easily, unless it's sitting against it, which would suck, but it happens. This thing will ever tighten. Okay, we'll just now snug it a little bit, not real tight. We're not going to see now it's too loose. See how it's not activating my ratchet? Means it's not. We got to hand tighten it a little bit here. If you just wiggle the bolt around, it'll usually slide in. It'll usually tighten in by hand. And you can tighten it most of the way. And then you can snug them all. Come on, get on now. Now, these bolts are 1/2 inch or 13. I'm using a 1/2 inch because I couldn't find my damn 13. A 13 fits much better on these. Now we're going to go to the front here and snug that one. Which that one you need a deep well for. If I can get this socket off without dropping my camera. Oh. And then you gotta find the bolt here, which is a pain. Because this one is a really snug fit for mine. I gotta wiggle my ratchet off, otherwise it won't come off here. Now, when we do this belt is gonna go. Hang on, I forgot how it goes now. Oh, I remember. This side comes up on the alternator. I'll show you before I put it on all the way here because I got to get underneath the van to do this. Lay down on the ground here. Oh, let me grab my ratchet before I go. Now this, you'll need a 3/8 ratchet because the tensioner has a 3/8 square on it. You just put your ratchet right on it. Let's see if I can do this here. Oh, and get a good shot for you. Oh God, I do not have this car jacked up, so it's a little bit of a pain. That's not right. Something's not right. Oh, it came off back there. Well, of course it did. Okay. Now, I keep the AC compressor off to make it easier on myself. And I line up everything else. And then I'll line up the AC compressor, which is still being a pain. Oh, this wheel well's right in my way. Okay, now I gotta get my... Okay, so I'm gonna show you here so you can see. Get my hand out the way here. Okay, so I got it around the belt. Oh, that's my arm, sorry. Around there, and then on the tensioner here. Didn't mean to stop the camera here. And it goes around the belt pulley back there, the power steering, to the idler up there, over to the alternator, down to the AC compressor, to the water pump, to the crank, around the tensioner, and back to the power steering. Now, when I push, I can't be able to do this with the camera running, but what you do is you push that tensioner towards the back of the car. You want to crank your ratchet to where it's towards the back of the car. Now, it's going to be loosened. And it's going to pull that back, and it'll stretch to make the belt come back so you get enough room to get it on. Now, while you're doing that, you want to put the belt on the AC compressor. I mean, you could do it other ways, but this is the easiest I found. So I'm going to stop the camera so I can do this here. Alright, there she is. She's all the way on. As you see, I got it. Now, over this, there's a piece right there. It's got 2 pins, one here and one right there. And then there's 2 bolts. There's one right here behind this wheel well, which is a 10 millimeter, and one right here, which is a 10 millimeter. And you can do this without jacking the car up. I mean, hell, you see the car still on the ground. It's literally, I'm just squeezing under in between the tire here. Mainly because I'm lazy, I'm not going to lie to you, but yes. So let me get this piece back on, and I'll show you how it goes in. Yeah. But yeah, to take them off, you just literally loosen that, push that up and back, and it'll release the belt. It'll give you enough leeway to get the belt off the pulleys. So not very hard. But yeah, you can review the video if you need to rerun your belt and everything else. Okay, so just to show you, there's the one bolt for that, and there's the other bolt. Right there. And they got the push clip there. And the push clip. I can't see it in the camera here. I'm looking for it. Hang on, I'm looking for it. Right there, which is that piece. It's literally a big button looking thing. I push it in there more, but yeah. And that's how you do that. That covers that motor up so you can't see it and it won't get splashed. Oh, I'm looking at my fat butt up here. Okay, so now we gotta hook up the electricals to the alternator. Now that the belt's on and everything else. First thing you want to do is take the nut off if you haven't done already. I usually try and leave it on there because I always lose it. So I try to leave it on there as long as I can. Gotta pull this plastic up. And we'll put that over it. Doesn't want to go in there. Now, if yours is anything like mine, you got a little hook on it. Apparently, my alternator does not have a spot for that little hook. Oh, it does. It's way down there. That's a pain in the butt. Why would you put it way down there? Okay. I gotta turn the camera off for a second. I can't do this one-handed. Okay, so sorry about that, folks. I had to flip the plug around, or that eyelet, because it wasn't accepting it the other way, because the way the alternator casing is. But then we just snap that cover right over, like that. Then we just plug her in. When is she plugging in? There she is. Okay, now what do I do with it? There it is. Now, on that alternator plug, there's a little clip like this. It actually popped off on me, but it's a locking mechanism to prevent it from getting unlocked. Let's see if I can get it in here with one hand here. Yeah, you just literally push it in like that, and now it's locked. So if it comes out, you just thread it back in and pop it in. And it prevents it from unlocking itself, so it cannot come off. I don't know when they had a problem with them unlocking, but, you know, just makes our jobs more difficult. But, yes, that's how that's in there. Now, the next step is going to be putting this radiator fan back in. Which, that's that big beast right there. Pain in the butt to get in, especially when you don't take nothing out like I did. You know, but in a way, I feel this is easier and cheaper because then you ain't got to refill fluids or recharge the AC or anything like that. And if you're cheap like me, then yeah. But yes, to get this in, you see there's these little side pieces. You got to swing them by it. Like that. And then you get it in there like this. And you're going to push it past the hose here. Which I'm stuck on something. I don't know what yet, but I'm stuck on something here. I'm stuck on something here. Already, we're starting. Okay, let's see here. There she goes. She's starting to go. But she just got to maneuver it down a little by little. Little by little, that's all it takes. I'm trying to do this with one hand, and it's not really working out for me. Oh, it's stuck on the... Oh, you got to move it over or something. So it'll fly down past it. What am I stuck on? I'm stuck on something here. I just don't know what it is yet. I know I'm stuck on something. I just can't figure it out yet. I will figure it out. I'm stuck on something. It's something dumb. I know it is. Oh, and one more thing. Before I forget, put this on. There's these clips or slide holes. You can see one right there and one right there. That's what those prongs go into. You want to hit all three. There's three of them. There's one down below by the jug that the jug's covering up. But you put the prongs in there and you push down and it'll lock it. So that's what I'm about to do here. Okay, now we got that in there. You want to feed the hose literally into these clips. Like that. And there's one more over here. You just feed it in. I use a rolling technique to get it in, and then you just connect it to here. Now you can put a clamp on this, but it shouldn't need a clamp. It shouldn't leak. Now the wiring, you want to feed underneath the hose too. Everything goes under this hose. Probably should have did this before I put this in, but that's okay. I like to struggle. So if you want to be smart, do it before you put the jug in, because you have a lot more room without the jug being there than you do with the jug being there. But let me tell you, it gets very tight quickly. It becomes very tight quarters. Now, one thing I did want to show you guys is on these clips is these push pin things. Now, these slide back. So I can get the slide here. This is what I was talking about. I can't even get the slide. Well, anyway, they slide back. They start in the lock position, unless someone else didn't put them back. This one still has them. I don't know if I'll be able to get them to push back, but they're a pain, okay? And you release them, you literally push right here in the middle. You move this back, and then it'll reveal the button. You push it, and it'll unlock the clip. But yes, then that plugs in down there, right there, and then right here. Or the other one that's over there right now. But yes, I gotta get these in now. Which, like I said, when I did this the first time, I did it to where I pulled the radiator fan halfway out to get to it, because taking it out, there's no room whatsoever to take it out. I mean, right now, I just got to push it in. So, I left this one plugged in until I got it halfway out. God dang, I can't even get it. Let me put the camera down. I can't get this right now. Snapped in. Now, before I forget, there's 2 push pins right there, and the other one is right here on the radiator fan. You literally just pull them out. They lock the wire to the fan so it doesn't get in the way of other things. But you ask me, the biggest pain in the butt ever. They always end up breaking. Amazingly, these ones didn't break. But see, that's how the clip locks. So now you can't unlock it to release it. Oh, yeah. Set this down for a second here. If I can get this hose to where it needs to be. Okay. As you see, I moved the hose back off of the oil fill here. Just to put it back a little bit. Give me a drink here. So next we're going to put the air box back, and I'll show you how to do that. Like I said, it's literally held in by 3 pins. Then there's clips on it, and yeah, you get it. If you've worked on cars a little bit, you know the drill. Most of them just... Now you want to make sure you get the piece that goes into the bumper on it by feeding it through here. And you just clip it down on them. Of course, this one would be a pain in the butt. Literally just clip it down on them. Like I said, there's one back there that's a pin. And there's that one there. And then it clips onto the thing. Now that screw that came out that didn't want to come out right goes right there. And that screws down there. So let me get a socket for it. Oh, God, I'm getting old. We'll tighten that back down. This one just happened to be a 14, but... Oh, I dropped the camera here. Sorry about that. Like I said, I only got one hand I'm trying to do this with. Oh boy, it does not want to go in. Oh gosh. Well, hopefully yours doesn't do this, because this is a pain to do it this way. Let me tell you. Hopefully the nut on yours is not rusted like this one. Let me tell you, this is a pain to get this to go in. And not to mention busting my knuckles. Come on. Okay, give me a minute here. Mine decided it's going to have jokes today, and the nut came loose. So now we're going to... Now, it's a star socket, but, you know, I don't have any star sockets. So we're going to take a regular socket and find the right one that fits on there. And we're going to crank her down. Because they say not to, but... No, I never listen to them. I ain't buying no E-sockets just for a dang bolt. I'm too cheap for that. That's pretty snug. Let's see if we can find a better snug. Now, these are usually pretty small sockets. Oh, yeah, that's nice and snug. So, 5mm. Okay. Let's get our... ratchet out. We're going to crank it on down in there. There you go. I mean, hopefully you don't have to go through that mess. I hope not. Because it's a pain doing it that way. I didn't expect it to come loose. I was just going to put some WD-40 underneath it and sort of slide, but apparently it wanted to bust loose. I said, okay, bust loose. We'll fix it. Where's my deep well? I put it somewhere. I don't remember where. I put it right up here. Dum dum dum. But yes, now we can crank it down and snug her. I'm not going to crank seriously hard on this one, just because I don't feel like dealing with it, because I'm probably going to end up having to take this fan about apart for something else later. So I'm just going to snug it and hopefully get my ratchet off of it. Let go of my ratchet. And see, hopefully you don't have the problems I'm having. But yeah, it's a 13mm is what it is. I don't know where mine's at. I lost it. I got to buy another one. I'm like 10s and 13s I have problems with. Always lose them. Now, if you do a bunch of car work, you know what I'm talking about. That's like the most common side. And bump, next thing you know, they're gone. They disappear. Anyway, enough of me ranting and raving. Now we're going to put back the air filter. Which this one's actually pretty clean, so... And I don't know why they do this big old thing and then this little dinky air filter. That don't make sense to me. I'd have used the whole box. But, you know, maybe I'm just logical. I don't know. If you guys want to talk about it, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'll comment back. I think they should have did the whole box instead of that little dinky square. You ask me, that's a bunch of wasted space. But, you know, I don't design these. I just have the pleasure of working on them and yelling at them. Because God knows. Now this, there's 3 little clips back there. I don't know if you can really see them, but there's 3 little clips back there that you got to hit. And then it'll snap down. Then you can latch it with these latches. Like I said, changing the air filter, not hard on these. Very easy. Now the carbon air filter, maybe I'll do a video on it later. I don't know. I'll call my sister-in-law to change her filter. I'll tell her I even do it for free if she lets me video it. That's okay. Now this is that hose I was telling you about. I'm saying is the one that it connects to that port on the air box. Right there. To over here. You literally just snap this side on, like that. And then this side. Able to go on. Just like that. Now this bad boy goes on here. It goes on. It wants to fight all the time, but come on, you don't need me to do two hands on this. Come on. There we go. Got that side on. Oh, of course, that back side wants to fight, don't it? Okay, I gotta put the camera down. I'm sorry. Okay, so now we got that in. You try and line those things up the best you can. They never seem to line up. I got that one to line up, but that one just didn't want to be a pain. So I said, the hell with you. Stay where you at. And there you go. It's all back together. Now, if you got an engine cover, it connects at these 4 points. It connects here, here. Where is it at? Right here. I'm looking at someone else here. There. And then this last one here. But this one's still got these are the little boots that connect to it. That's what's on the bottom of the engine cover. Just snips in there and yeah. We'll put that back. I don't know what it's there for, but it makes me wonder if this has got a leak in it. What is up with all this tape and stuff? I don't know. That's a discussion for another video. Okay. Now, when you're doing batteries, the general rule is you want to do the positive first. And I'm going to explain to you why. Okay. Now, some places, like, for instance, my work van, big boy there, the batteries are in tight spots. Now, the reason you do the positive first is so when you're tightening it down, what I always do is I'll put the positive on like this, just like that, and then I'll tighten it down. Now, the reason being is 90% of your ratchets are made of metal. Now, if you're tightening this down and you go, guess what? You just completed the circuit, especially if you got the negative terminal connected. Now, that can fry some stuff. That can backfire and burn your computer up and everything else. So you always want to do your positive first. At least in my opinion, you do. Some people say, oh, you got to do the negative first. You got to do the negative. No. I always do the positive first. I ain't never had bad experience with it. Now, I have done the negative positive last and burnt some stuff up before. Yeah, and you don't want to do that. See, no sparking, nothing. Now, see, now if you hit a piece of metal, which that's plastic, but you get the idea. If you hit a piece of metal, nothing happens because you're on the negative. Nothing happens. So, just that tip right there. Give me a drink here. Okay, so one thing I wanted to note in here is when you're taking these battery terminals off, start with the negative. Take the negative off first. Kill the system. Because the same goes with putting it on. You don't want your ratchet or wrench or pliers or whatever you're using to touch anything metal. And it's better safe than sorry. Take that negative off first. It'll kill the system. No power will be going to it. You can touch it all you want with the positive. It ain't going to make a difference. It's not grounded no more. So always start with the negative. I know some people out there is going to say, well, you're doing it wrong, Ninja Nick. Well, guess what? I have fried computers by touching my ratchet against something grounded. Like, for instance, this piece right here is made of metal. Touch that with your ratchet or wrench. Bam. Fried computer. Now you're in for a $1,000 fix plus a trip to the dealer. I don't know about you, but I ain't trying to spend $1,000 to replace something that didn't need replaced to begin with. I'm walking over to my garbage can here, throw my drink away because I'm done with it. But yeah, just that little tip there. always start with the negative. I have never fried a computer by taking the negative off first. Okay. So, if you want to argue with me, that's your business. But I have personally fried a computer by touching the positive to something grounded. Not fun, not pretty. Very expensive fix. And these things, they got a computer built into the fuse box, which you fry that, it's just all bad from there. It's just never ending problems. But that's beside the point. All right. Go. I mean, I apologize again about the teardown. I wasn't thinking. This was kind of a surprise job. I wasn't prepped for it. They just knocked on my door and said, "Hey, you want to do the alternator today?" I said, "Sure, I'm not doing nothing." The wifey's gone. Son's inside playing video games. And Dad's out here in the front lawn working on cars. Well, enough about me. Anyway, this is Ninja Nick signing out till the next time I see you guys. And we will be back.